Morning.
Morning. You're all muted on entry, but you can unmute anytime.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
Very good.
Feel free to unmute. Everybody is just muted coming in, so keep noise down.
It's always so fun seeing everyone's collections behind them.
Yeah, I'm not so I'm sharing a man cave with a friend, and that's his collection. Minifigures.
Very neat.
Well, you get to see my kitchen. That's the way it is.
You get to see my Lego ideas background.
And I'm in the middle of a move, and all my Lego collection is in storage right now.
I'm sitting on the patio.
I'm in the office, so my Lego collection is in the attic. So for I have this Lego background of the amazing Barracuda Bay Pirates of
It's a
Barracuda
great
Bay.
background.
Thank you.
So it seems like there's a lot of people, I don't know if this had been like if everyone had to fly to California for this, would we have had this? I'm seeing a lot of international people here. So my question is, were you folks that are calling in internationally, were you planning to attend Bricks by the Bay, or is it just because it's a virtual event?
For me, it's because it's a virtual event. I saw it last night and immediately felt like, yeah, good idea. Should join. I might have to leave at 8 o'clock, so that's in 1 hour. So here it's 7 p.m. Because we have every Saturday a virtual meeting in our LAC every Saturday. Hi, Alice. And I would have been in June in Japan at the Japan Brick Fest, actually. Yeah. Gone.
Well, hi. It's a little awkward calling into virtual ambassador meetings, I'll give it that, but I'm kind of I'm Sarah Scahill. You guys hopefully know me. I see a lot of familiar faces here. I work on the LAN in the ambassador or the as an engagement manager on the LEGO Ambassador Network. I'm kind of jumping into Russell's meeting here. I certainly don't want to interrupt if ambassadors want to talk and discuss matters. I'm also here to talk to you guys if you wanted to give me direct feedback. So, however this normally goes.
Well, this is my first virtual one, so I'm not really sure how it goes.
But for ones that will be like normally real life, how is it normally structured? Is it ambassadors talking to each other? Or has there not really been one?
There was one a couple years ago at Bricks by the Bay when Cine came out. And they were like, it was in a room with her and like 5 ambassadors that were there. And everybody just kind of chit-chatted. Nothing really formal.
Absolutely doesn't need to be formal. Sorry?
We had one at Bricks LA when Jan came out. But it was more like Q&A. It's like, okay, ask me what's on your mind? What do you want to get off your chest? And as usual, a lot of the tough questions was, sorry, no comment.
Well, these virtual meetings, these virtual meetings are especially awkward for that.
Yeah, so I think Alice, you and I have been to together actually in Cologne at one, and then of course in Scareback. I think Megan, you were there this year as well, right? Last year, sorry. Yeah, but then in Scareback it's pretty big and a lot of attendance also from LEGO, and kind of an agenda. I think we had years with a very fixed agenda, other years with more an agenda coming from LEGO. It depends.
Yeah, well, as far as a LEGO agenda, I don't have any formal agenda for you. Mostly just that, you know, the usual nagging, right? I need you guys to submit reports. That's the usual nagging I do every year at these ambassador meetings, is that we really value your support, your reports. And it's actually a way for us to get insight into what your community is doing. Some communities are really behind on their reports and we're not sure, are they still an active community? So
look, I'm preparing a review.
Okay, there you go.
This is embargo, right? I can't show it really.
Yeah, I don't entirely know, because I think that one was in the retailer magazine.
Yes, it was. So it's less confidential,
less,
I would say.
It's
right?
less confidential than if you pulled up, you know, the Lamborghini back in the day. I would have been like, yeah, but it's good for us to know what you're doing. It's good for us as well. All that information goes into internal presentations. It goes into other kind of stats when we look at the different communities, which ones are big, that kind of stuff. So really, any reports you can give us. I know it's tough right now because you guys aren't meeting in person. I've seen some conversation on the LAN where people are like, should I, you know, do virtual event reports? And it's like, well, absolutely. More information we get, the better, honestly. And I know this submitting report isn't fun and exciting, but we appreciate them.
Sarah, then I have a question. So we do, as I just mentioned, every Saturday we're doing a virtual meeting. I don't want to write a report every Saturday. So
you don't need, not for like a lug
it's maybe
meeting.
every half a year a report or something about the ones, or what do you mean?
Well, if you're doing, so I guess it would depend on the type of meeting you're having, right? So if you're doing some small kind of contest or something, you know, some kind of activity where maybe you're using support.
We did, yes. We have
that's great for us to know.
Okay, then I'll do some retrospective reports.
Or if you guys are just getting together and like just chit-chatting and being social, which is very important during this time.
In Germany and Austria and Switzerland, we now have a regular contact with the EMEA LEGO marketing department.
That's
so
wonderful.
This German marketing person, and we are doing regular meetings. Is it once in a quarter or every 2 months, something like that, with her? And she has also donated some sets for some contests. So there's this hashtag contact for, what is it called in English? Build together or something like let's build together or something
build
like,
together.
Yeah. There's also a German hashtag for it, and we did some contests, and then in our virtual meetings we did the voting for the best participants. So every participant got a number for the mock that they provided, and then we elected in the virtual meeting the winners.
That's great. Yeah, and I mean that kind of stuff. Interesting to have a report for.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's good to know. Thanks, Sarah. Because actually, at the virtual Bricks by the Bay today, WBI Women's Brick Initiative is going to be having a presentation and a workshop today virtually.
Fantastic.
So it's good to know I can just do a report on that.
You can just do a report on that. In general, more reports are happier is what we want to hear.
Good to know. We're doing lots of stuff. Well, I can do lots of reports.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So like what Baylug's been doing is, what I've been doing is I've been reporting the meetings that have been physical that are canceled, because I think someone said that we're supposed to do that just so that we keep track of it. But we've also, since May, we've been doing virtual meetings. So I've been reporting those, because we've actually still been doing a building contest where I actually have a Google form so that the voting is live. So we're still interactive, just like we would at a normal meeting. But then at the same time, and so I report those. But at the same time, we've had a member that started doing weekly unofficial hangouts that they do every Sunday for a couple hours that only have like 4 or 5 people in them. And those don't get reported because those are just unofficial, we just hang out stuff. And I know that Lego requires a meeting to be 2+ hours and 10+ people, so they don't really count as a meeting anyway. But we've been trying to be as active as we can almost weekly with stuff to keep members engaged.
Yeah, and especially like if you're using support somehow for these and you're doing contests and things like that, that's what we want to hear about. We want to hear about that kind of stuff. Informal chit-chatting, it's great you guys do it. That's not necessarily helpful for us to know though. And, when you do have success stories like this, if Megan, if your workshop turns out really awesome, or, Russell, if you've had some really awesome things that have come out of these meetings, it's great to share those on the LAN with other people. I've seen some people talking about virtual meetings and like things they're doing to keep engaged, but we're really seeing people get really innovative and really creative. Lego's such a physical toy, right? Or not a toy, physical medium. So it's like you want to be there in person and you can't. And if you're finding ways to get around that and be creative, that's awesome stories to share with other ambassadors.
Hi guys, I'm Luis from Costa Rica. Obviously, I'm from outside US, and the things that we are doing are basically live events on Facebook. Today is our 8th or 9th event, and basically these are live buildings and live conversations and that kind of stuff.
That's great.
Anytime you can have something that keeps people motivated and keeps people sort of engaged, any kind of thing like that I think is really great. I feel a lot for the people who live alone or who live isolated and they don't have the human contact of normal life, and I think that's really a lifeline for them to feel like they're connected to people via these maybe mostly social events, but still really important to stay connected, because at this point it may be a while since they've actually hugged somebody.
I love your organization behind you, Alice. That's intense.
Don't look too closely because there's mess underneath.
Oh.
I'm hiding the mess. That's the building space.
Yeah, work in progress.
Yeah.
That looks great, Alice.
Yeah.
Virtual backgrounds become your friend to hide that stuff, Alice.
Yes.
I think a Lego mess you can be proud to show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you're a builder, then this is normal, right?
Yeah, I'll show you something. I just need to turn the camera. Sorry. Yeah, so maybe I'd give you a little tour. So we have a nice room where we build, and we also store our stuff. So that's how it looks like when you store things. But then this is our building area.
Wow.
Nice.
That looks like the model shop.
Yeah, it looks like a model shop. Yeah,
It's huge.
but it's unfortunately very busy and not. Yeah, I need to tidy up a little bit, right? And that's what my project that I'm working on. Yeah.
It just means you're making progress when you have little drawers and bags of stuff all over the place.
Oh yes, yeah, but yeah, it's also it's building and sorting always. Both.
We just got our lug bulk order, and so there's bags of things that don't have places to go, waiting for more drawers. But I can't go to the store to buy more drawers, so it'll just have to wait until the,
That's my luck bulk.
Yep. Very good.
And what are you guys doing right now to kind of sort and, I know sorting's usually a big process with lots of different people in one space. What are you guys doing to do social distancing with that?
I made a box for each person who was sorting. We have some distance members. So for example, we actually have some people in Alaska, so they don't help with the counting. But the plan is that every year at BrickCon, they pick up their box and then they take it home. Well, we don't know if BrickCon is happening. Right. And so they didn't participate in the sorting, but each person got a box of stuff. They took it home, sorted it, brought it back. I divvied it up into each person's bag, and then they came back and picked up the final thing. So there was no sort of hand-to-hand interaction at all. It was just a box on the porch that got picked up and then dropped off.
Pod sorting.
I'm hoping ours just doesn't come in for a while still, because like trying to figure it out logistically, given the size of our lug and the geographic spread, is just going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, admittedly, we're small. We're very small.
Yeah.
And so it was completely logistically fine to do that because it's 10 people that actually did the sorting.
Yeah, that's what, so C-Log is, we're like you, Peter, we're like, could this wait for a bit to come in? But yeah, and I'm in Seattle, I'm in the city proper, so it'll get delivered here, which is great. But then we would usually take it to the BrickCon warehouse and do the sorting there. But that may not happen, until regulations are lifted to allow large groups of people. But like Alice is doing, the idea has been batted around about doing pod sorting, like, okay, here's your set of bags, you go off, do that, come back, farm it out, and then I will have to do a whole bunch of shipping, or hopefully at some point we can get together and say, okay, this is yours, or some other sort of format.
I'm in 3 lugs, and they have different approaches because they have different sizes. The one that I do lug bulk with is very small, so that gives me the opportunity to have more selection. I can select more parts, and that is actually one family that does the sorting. They're a family of 4 who are all Lego crazy. The kids are adults, and then they just sort everything. And then I just went there last Friday and collected it and had a nice evening with them. Yeah. So, and in my main lug, where I'm the ambassador of 1000 Steine, is very big, and we have like lug bulk is, I think, around about 300 to 400 participants.
Oh.
Yeah. And we're lucky that the person that runs the infrastructure is an LCP. He's the German LCP, and he's got a company, and he does the sorting in his company with his staff. It's a lot done by his wife, actually.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Because that's a huge task.
Yeah, he gets a truck with several pallets full of Lego. Yeah, but nothing arrived yet.
Yeah, I think the takeaway is it's pod or bubble sorting. Is it's going to come to a central location, and you're going to have to figure out family sorting. So like Alice knows Doug and Emily Weir. They also they've offered to, like, they're isolated. I could ship some off to them. And so I may have to figure out which families, like, okay, you take this, you take that, I'll take this, you know, do that type of thing.
There have been times until a couple of years ago, where you could also define more than one receiver for the luck bulk, so that it was sent. We had 3 regions in Germany, because we are across Germany, so we could send it to 3 regions, and then they met there and sorted stuff.
Yeah.
So we could, because it's a really huge luck bulk, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, ours is, yeah, mine will, when it arrives, usually fills up my hallway in my condo until we can get it sorted. And it may be a possibility, depending on when payment and arrival and all of that is, you know, we're sort of playing the game against the government, is like, if they give us allow us to congregate in larger numbers, then it might be helpful, because then we could even limit that into, you know, pods itself. You know, we could say, okay, we get 25. Okay, great. It's only going to be these 25. Mask up, glove up, you know, bring Ziploc bags, and, you know, wear your hazmat suit and try to do the sorting. So it's going to be a challenge this year, for sure.
So
yeah, I think this is the only year I've heard people say they want their lug bulk to arrive later.
Yes.
Haven't heard that before.
Definitely.
really?
Yeah.
There were a lot? Oh. We decided everything should just be done as usual.
That's kind of what Balog is doing. Our stuff is delivered to a member's church that he does maintenance at, and he's talking to the pastor, who, as far as we know right now, doesn't think it's going to be a problem for us to still meet there. But we're doing protocols and things. We're going to spread the tables out farther, 1 person per table. You have to wear masks. The lug is buying hand sanitizer or sanitizing wipes. Usually we provide lunch, and it's like a buffet lunch, but this year we're going to do like a box lunch so everybody gets their own thing, so they don't have to congregate together. So we're going as normal as we can, and we're also limiting it to just the people that participate instead of opening up to everybody to help. And we're also not going to allow kids this time. You know, we're doing all kinds of protocols to make it work, because as far as we know, it's going to be business as usual for the most part.
Actually, that's you just made me think of an idea. Depending on when it arrives and the weather situation, it could be done outdoors at some point, and do that as spread out tables apart in a parking lot, or down at the warehouse, Thomas. We could spread everything out into different areas out in the parking lot, and have people sort, if it wasn't too bad if it wasn't raining and it was a sunny day and no wind.
Well, and with the new bigger warehouse we have for BrickCon now, I've already got permission to have up to 12 people each at their own table at the warehouse, and we can spread out that way. We'll be fine that much. If you try to get 25 people, that'd be harder, but
yeah,
12 people we can fit in the warehouse each at their own table.
Isn't there still a restriction to limit groups to 5 and under?
Is that what it is? I was just trying to look that up,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we're still, we're all of us in King County are still under, like, it's 5 and under sort of thing. So we're waiting to see if we can get to 25, but that's going to be a stretch. We're already halfway through July. I'm not seeing that till August or September, if at anything.
For me, though,
New Hampshire is the only. Sorry, go ahead, Pierre.
I know we can take precautions, but for me, it just seems like I would hate for the reason that there's an outbreak to be because of bug bowl. Like,
yes, yeah, I would, that exactly is the top of my mind, is, you know, that we got together, and as long as we're safe, you know, I just as an anecdote, I just had my hair cut 2 weeks ago, so that was the first time of actually going to a barber, you know, and we were masked up, gloved up. So now I'm at the 2-week mark. So far, no problems. So you sort of don't want to, you know, basically pull people together, have a COVID outbreak because you were sorting lug bulk. I'd be like, okay, there goes the guilt right there for the next, you know, X number of years. So, I will do everything to minimize the risk and figure it out. But right now it seems to be pod and bubble sorting seems to be the way to do it.
And also one more thing that I think is coming more this year is counting scales. We always use quite a few already, the club owns one. I personally own two. We always had a couple, but I think we will possibly borrow or buy more this year. So people don't have to touch every part. And also you spend far less time, because counting hundreds or thousands of parts, it's just way too time consuming versus using a scale, counting a handful makes it much faster. So we need less people, less time. So I think that might be the way to go, is just say no more hand counting, everything gets put on the scale, and see if we can get a couple more scales and run it this way.
So this year we also used cups. We've used these at my house because this is how I store a lot of stuff, but this way people didn't have to stick their hands in the bags. They used this, and then they were sort of going like this into the counting scale, right? So that there was even less touching of the brick. And yeah, if they had one, they took one out, but like this was their scooping mechanism, and I gave each person a stack. These are just deli cups. To use in the sorting process, because you can do like 50, 50, 50, 50, right? As many times as you need, and then you just pour it into whatever size bag you need, depending on what they order. But we were trying to keep the touching of the parts to minimum, and deli cups are a good thing for that.
Yeah, that makes me think I should write the deli cups scoops, plastic scoops, or if they in as well. So
yeah, Bela goes
even wear gloves and say either like latex or cloth gloves. This way, even less.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. Depending on how it plays out, it's going to be the cup scoops idea, that's good, Alice. Scales, I know I have two, and then we can get other members. That might be also might be a requirement going forward, though. On certain big pieces, they could, as long as they wear gloves, that would be fine.
Just out of curiosity, do you know which lug has the largest lug bulk participation?
You asking me? I can pull
Yeah.
it up. Might take a minute.
I think in the past it was a South Korea lug, which had like 10,000 people in it or something like that. But I don't know if that's their lug bulk size. I don't know.
Their lug bulk size isn't, I don't think, that big.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be a full container, because we are fairly small and we used to get a pallet already. So if you do a pallet for like 20 people or even less, I imagine if you have thousands, that would be literally a container.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily get that much. The nice thing about this being virtual is I can actually look that up if we're just want some trivia here. Just got to open Excel.
Sorry. I was on mute. Thank you, Alice, for reminding me. So we're an online LAC, and we have like 80,000 accounts on that we can count, but that doesn't really count because that can be people who have maybe been have registered with a password on our platform like 20 years ago, because that's how old it is. It's 20 years now, and but we've got 650 paying members. So it's still, and only the paying ones are allowed to participate in Luckbug. Yeah.
What do you use the payment for? Just maintenance of?
This is for keeping the website up and running. So Rene, the LCP, he has actually written all the code on his own. He's not using any, like for the chat, he's not using any chat software from third party. He's very conscious of data protection. That's, by the way, also a problem that we have with Luckbug, that we now have to give the data to a third party. And in the when that happened the first time last year, I think I can share that now. We had a special arrangement with Anna on what kind of data we would share. Now it's better, and it's all more run in, and now it's no problem anymore. But we had a very big change in data privacy in Europe last year, and there was a lot of uncertainty what you can do, what you can't do, and that has also improved now. For example, on Bricklink, we had a lot of shops closing in Germany last year because of data privacy, and you have to have your AGB, we call it your conditions, your business conditions, and they have to be waterproof. You have to ask a lawyer to check it for you, otherwise someone can try to sue you even if they don't have business with you. It's not suing in front of a court. It's a very special thing in Germany, how it works, but they can ask you to stop
Is that the
things.
same as GDPR?
Yes, yeah, that has to do with the GDPR, but the conditions of your shop have to be very clearly defined, how you charge for your posting, for your shipping, etc., and that needs to be actually shared with the customer before he orders, so he knows already before he orders what he has to pay, and all this stuff. And therefore, a lot of German Bricklink stores closed for a while because they were sued. And that works in that way that you have to sign a paper that you will stop this business, or the way how you do the business, with not being fully compliant. And if you don't stop, you have to pay a fine to that party actually of 1,000 euro or something like that, right? So and otherwise he could take you to the court later on. So. But the people have now also adopted their conditions, and so that's also gone. But yeah, that's GDPR is a tricky one. Yeah,
it is, and Lego is actually GDPR compliant even for US consumers. So you can at any point submit a thing into Lego and say, delete all of my information you have on me, and we'll do it. You won't be able to use the LAN or your Lego account anymore because it'll be deleted. But you can do that. And that's one of the reasons why on the LEGO Ambassador Network, we have to ask for your email address, or not your email address, your home address, like all the time, because we're not allowed to store it. So you got to submit a form that says, I would like a Christmas present every year, because we can't use your email address every time. And for lug bulk data, all that information you sent to Thomas is deleted within a certain amount of time. I forget if it's like 6 months or just a couple months. So every year you got to resubmit that.
Didn't they just also change the VAT tax? Because I've had
in Germany
instances where I have items in a Bricklink shopping cart and you cannot update the cart to accept the warning that the VAT has changed. You have to delete the item from the cart, go back to the item and add it back in. Which is a bit weird. You can't just sort of say accept updates. But if the item was in the cart beforehand, it gives this warning, VAT has changed. Yeah,
I don't honestly know about.
They reduced our VAT because of Corona, and they hope that the business will pick up better, but not sure.
It sounds like there's an error with that being updated on Bricklink.
An error on Bricklink? What?
Oh, right. So if you want to know the community with the most lug bulk signups, it's Belgian Lug with 480 signups. So good for them.
We must be a runner-up, I think.
You were the runner-up. There's a few others.
I'd like to know how the 480 people decide on the 85 bricks. That's no idea. That I would like to know, because what is let's see.
I can tell you how we do it in Tausendsteine. There's a voting actually. Actually, we have a web page where you can select as many as you want. Yeah. And those who get the most votes, so the most selected ones, then will be on the list. And what we then do in the forum, people share their view on certain elements, what they would like to see, why they think it's not a good idea, because who needs 1,000 picks or whatever, right? So just making it up, right? So and then also yeah, Renee will maybe do a small selection as well. But then also everyone who won, so we have a monthly mock of the month contest, and every winner in 1 year has one element as well. So that's 12 elements already gone. Because they are builders, right? So they should get a vote, a special vote.
Yeah, and I've heard of that before. We did a LAN Academy article a while back where they talked about awarding points for people to vote for elements, whether they've attended so many meetings or, you know, participated in contests, things like that.
And question on the ordering for you. We've gone back and forth. We switched a couple times over the last decade. Well, a couple times we require people to order a minimum of like 100 or 1,000, like, or dollar amount, depending on, like if it's a penny item, you have to order at least a couple hundred. If it's 10 cents, you have to order like 50. Did you use something like that too? Or can they order just like 3 of a penny item? We did the limit, so it's not like a couple hundred of like tiny orders where it's like, oh, if you want 3 of a penny item, go to Bricklink. It's not really large, or not really both.
Yeah, we also do minimum amounts like 50 or 100 in a lot. Depends on the price. Yeah.
We allow members to do a minimum of 25.
Sorry, how many?
They 25. You can order 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if only one person orders it, then they have to order the minimum of 50. So if one person asked to do a part, nobody else ordered it, they only want 25, they have to do the minimum of the 50 to make it compliant, or else it doesn't get included.
Yeah, we have one person.
Happen where only one person wants a part.
That did happen one time with a giant Technic piece, but they ended up ordering like 300 of it, but only one person ordered it. But it was like, I think the price difference was so astronomical compared to Bricklink that it was worth it for that one person to get that one part.
Yeah. We have one person who orders 25 of every part. It's like the lugbook nightmare, right? Because no matter what it is, you have 25, and right, it takes.
We have people like that too. They order every piece, very small amount, and it's just like, come on! It's like it's a sorting nightmare. And we have few members, so it's not too bad. I imagine if you have hundreds, it's gotta be a real headache.
To me, though, I mean, sorting is going to take all the day or all whatever time period you set aside for it anyway. Yes, the small orders are a little more annoying, but I'd rather have somebody like be able to dip their toes in and participate than feel they have to order truly bulk amounts of everything.
Yeah, that's true. It's just funny. He builds only small scale things, so it's like, oh, I need 5 leaves and one 1x8. Okay, I'll take 1,000.
We do voting as well, but sort of lug and lugbook leadership are democratic in the voting, but also a little authoritarian and will overrule the voting based off of, we look at what have we ordered in the past, what's the Bricklink price for something, what do we actually need, what have people used in the past, what makes sense. So we try to keep it, get everybody's input, but also do a sort of overall view that individuals can't do necessarily. So.
And there's always the possibility. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. In our case, this is our first luck vote because we're relatively new. We got our approval last year. So for this year, the board, we have like a board with 5 or 6 people, and they choose like like 35 elements, and then we did a voting for the rest 50, and we chose the 85 elements like that.
Congratulations on getting to do Lugbook. That's like a big deal, right?
Yeah, thank you very
That's
much.
awesome.
So Balog does it a little differently. We let members that are participating submit 3 nominations for parts, choice 1, 2, and 3, and then everybody's first choice is automatically put on the list. And so far, we have enough members that participate that everybody's second choice. So each member gets a guaranteed 2 picks, and then the remaining slots are filled by vote for the remaining parts that are left over.
Yeah, that's how we sort of do it. We have so we do a point system to enter into, to be able to participate in Lugbook. So you have to participate in events or attend meetings or do things like that to get into, to be able to participate in Lugbook. And then that list is then, for lack of a better word, culled, because there's some duplicates, like there's some in PSLTC, which is in Thomas's org or Thomas's lug or down in South Sound. So they'll sort of it'll be easy. Like, I know this person's going to go with this lug and I know this person's going to go with that lug. So that whittles the list down to a somewhat manageable number. So we roughly, in the last 2 to 3 cycles, we've had roughly 35 participants per cycle. And then after that, it's very similar to yours, Russell. We basically, divide by the number. Okay, give us your top 5 choices. And then basically I start going, you get 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I start, cleaning out the duplicates or overlaps and things like that. And then when we get to our list of like 70, if it's 35 participants, then we do a round of voting on the remaining top elements for them to include in the order. And then we lock the list at 85.
And there's always cleanup work. Like for us, sometimes it happens that like a left hinge is on the list and the right hinge didn't necessarily make the cut. So there's no point in saying, oh, I order this part and not the other. Either you need to take both of them off or leave both of them on, because what's like the symmetrical items, a left fender without the right fender is not very useful. And then also what happens quite frequently is some of the popular parts like the stucco bricks, they get voted in 10 different colors. And we have to say, okay, sorry, not going to happen. You get 2 or 3 colors each year. So we have some part variety and not just out of the 85 parts, only 20 different parts, but each one is in 4 or 5 different colors. So it's like, okay, we had those 2 or 3 colors last year. We rotate in 2 or 3 other colors this year, and then a couple more colors next year, and limit it and say, okay, we know it's a popular piece, but we don't want to take up too much of a percentage with one piece.
Yeah, we do. So on like the left, right, or window pieces, so we made a rule that if you pick a left piece, your second choice has to be that right piece. Don't rely on somebody else to pick up the right piece. Or if you pick up a window frame, pick up the pane. And then I will check those. That's the one thing I do sort of moderate, is like, if I see it and I don't see the other one, then I ask the person, are you going to pick the right one or whatever? And I get email confirmation like, no, I only want the left one. Okay, that's fine. Just realize, if you were looking for somebody else to do this, then that's okay. Because I don't want you to come back at the end of the cycle and go, well, where's my right piece? And I'm like, nope, I have your email confirmation that you said, no, you didn't want the right piece. Panes of glass and windows and things like that, we do the same as well. So, and we on the picking, we just let people pick whatever they want. So if the part showed up was last year, it shows up again this year, that's fine. It's whatever you want that you need for the thing. We don't sort of curate it or moderate it. We just sort of like, you're into the Lugbook, You get to pick your choices, guaranteed top 1 or 2, maybe 3 if it was a low turnout cycle. And then, so if we get the brick or that profile brick, it shows up every year, same color, different color. That's fine. We don't mind. A lot of people love it, so it's always a popular item.
We do the same thing because sometimes you have someone participate one year that didn't participate the year before, so they nominate the same part somebody else may have already done.
Right. Exactly.
Is there anything worth talking about beyond lug bulk while we have a little bit more time?
We could talk about anything you want. Any other topics you want to bring to the table?
One thing I should mention, though, that I forgot to mention at the beginning is I am recording this because the intent was to put the video available on the LAN. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that. So if anybody objects, let me know. I won't do it.
Fine with me. I need to bring up the topics that we always bring up, right?
Okay.
We want the 2x4 boxes back. The 2x4 brick boxes. We need them, right?
Okay.
And we want the brick boxes, the play brick boxes.
The play brick boxes. Play brick boxes. We're trying. Probably not coming back though. Taxes. It's just complicated.
Yeah.
Customs really doesn't like it when we send them boxes and we're like, we don't know what's in here. They want to know what's in there. They want to know where it was produced. We've really struggled with it, and we have not been able to find a way that's tax compliant. Lego Group doesn't want to get sued. We're trying. We hear you. You're not the only one.
But 2x4 is a simple one, right? That is your basics.
Yes. I'll have to look into that one. I don't know why that one was canceled. I do know that we've heard a lot of people miss those activity boxes, and we miss being able to give them out because they were easy and they were awesome. But we have really struggled to be 100% tax compliant.
Looking as recycling.
Looking ahead, when
compared as plastic recycling.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, when
what's in it, it's recycling.
Yeah. When we can have events, and the 2x4 is cornerstone of a lot of play areas. There's probably going to be more emphasis on cleaning it regularly. So having a larger supply to be able to swap out would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, I have just went through the clearance process to start working in a juvenile jail, and I haven't actually been able to go and do it because COVID happened. But the last hurdle was I have to be able to leave with exactly the same number of parts as I entered with, which is a bit of a challenge with Lego, right? How do you do that if you don't want to just sit and count? But a box of 2x4s, I can do that because it can be weighed, and I know I came in with X amount and I can leave with X amount. And so that was one of the solutions that we found to comply with the security of a jail is if I bring in a box of 2x4s, I can keep track of that way better than mixed brick of any kind. So that was going to be sort of the one way I could make this work to go work with these kids in a jail is with those boxes of 2x4.
And Alice, that sounds like a really amazing thing you're doing, and something that maybe we can, if you can connect with Alyssa on that, maybe we can connect you, do something with the Lego Foundation, Lego Charity. They're sometimes able, in small cases, like small situations, to push things through that we are not able to push through.
That would be awesome.
That sounds like a really amazing initiative.
Well, it came about because I read the book Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. It just came out in movie format this spring, I guess. And I realized that it was an important thing to be able to interact with these kids. It's a residential jail for ages 7 to 21. And I just thought, I have to do my part because, well.
So Alice, that's not kids that are there because their parents are there?
No, so I haven't been in yet, so I don't know anything other than what I am able to see, but part of it is not that people have, it seems that it's not just that they have committed crimes, but they're being protected from criminals. So if somebody has been sexually assaulted or something like that, they can also be residents in this compound because it's protected in a way that they are not the criminal, but they somehow have to be protected from criminals. So that's how I think it ends up on the young side. I can't imagine why a 7-year-old would be living by themselves.
I must admit, Alice, in I'm in Europe, right? What I see in the US, I believe everything you say, right? So I can imagine everything. I'm sorry.
Pretty messed up. Oh, everything is messed up. But I don't know, but it was compelling enough that I decided that I needed to go and somehow be a part of this, because there has to be a way that Lego can make the lives of these people better than what it is right now.
Absolutely.
So that's whenever this all opens up again, that in particular makes the 2x4s critical, at least for my one little case. So
Alice, what if just making up, what if Lego charity for Lego Foundation would give you like fairy brick sets? Could you leave them there?
That is a possibility. I don't actually know the answer to that. The way the housing is set up, it's like little pods. So there's 12 kids that live in one building, and then there's another pod. So I'm not sure what the method of that, what the method to the residential assignments is. But what I can see is that there's a common space. So what if like they could use that in their common space within that building?
Yeah.
Maybe, that would be amazing, right? Maybe
I think that's something,
leaving by having it stay there.
And I think that's something Lego would love to be a part of. So definitely reach out to my colleague, Alyssa, on that.
Yeah, I know Alyssa. Okay.
Is there any other things you guys want to bring up? I have a Q&A at 3. So we can go over if you guys, or whatever, what time is it there? I have a Q&A at 1, I guess, your Pacific Standard Time. So we can talk for a bit longer. We can wrap things up. But is there any other things you'd like to talk about? You want to talk about the LAN? You want to talk about other things I can help you with?
I think just on the positive side, I think the LAN has undergone a very great development over time as a platform. I think it's still difficult to motivate people to participate. I must say, for myself as well, sometimes. I think we're not running workshops anymore or anything like that. Although now is the time where we are all sitting at home.
Right.
The LAN could probably offer more.
Yes, you are right. And we haven't done a work group in a while. And we probably should look at doing that again. There's been some time issues within the team, but since we have Jordan onboarded now, so we are starting to feel like we're a little bit, the team has a little bit more time to do projects like that. And
I liked the few ambassador meetings we had with you guys in the past month. We need to continue that, in my view. And maybe then on the LAN, we should collect items for an agenda. There could have been also an option for this meeting, but that's fine. I only saw your posting. Is it you, Russell, yesterday? So that all would help then to also get some themes together, topics together, and then have video conferences to discuss them.
Yep, and we do plan to do more of the calls. I think we were kind of looking at maybe doing it quarterly. So we're in another quarter now. We definitely could do some more calls.
I mean, many are now in the summer break, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe not right now. I don't know. Most of my Danish colleagues are on break.
You can't travel. We can't go to Europe.
Why are you having a vacation?
You can travel in your own country. I mean, here a lot of people are now seeing their own country for the first time. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in Germany now go on holiday on the German coast. I had planned a holiday in France this summer. I could have gone, but I decided not to. and stay home. But
yeah.
There are only 12 countries in the world right now where you can travel as a U.S. with a U.S. passport.
Yeah.
Like
And even
11 of them are in the Caribbean, and there's one country in Africa. I think it's Tanzania. Everything else is like Antigua. And
yeah, we're on an island now, basically.
I think we can travel within the U.S., but it's like, where are you gonna go?
Yeah, and if and wherever you go could be a potential hot spot, and you don't want to like. I mean, my parents live in Arizona. I would love, right now it's 110-degree heat, not probably a good time, but if I wanted to go visit my parents, it's not a good point.
Well, I know the company I work for, if you travel out of state and come back, they put you in a mandatory 14-day quarantine.
Yeah.
So it's like you get
they ask that for Lego as well.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to going to the office.
So what's the point? It's a vacation from a vacation. It just doesn't make sense. You might as well stay home.
Hey, Sarah, I was going to ask, is Jordan now in Billund, or is he still in the U.S.?
He is still in the U.S. He is working on emigrating to Europe. As you can imagine, that's a little complicated right now. But hopefully he will be there before the summer concludes.
Okay.
And he's very excited about it.
So then we will see him in Scareback.
If we have Scareback. Yes, you would see him
maybe
in
we
Scareback.
can do maybe we can do a video session from Scareback. That could be interesting.
That would be great, since I won't be able to go to Scareback this year.
I have a couple questions, and I don't know if you are allowed to answer or if you know the answer. Mexico production facility, any thoughts? When is it coming back? And
it's
then
back.
Also said,
it's been open for like a month now, I think.
Okay. And and I don't know if you are allowed to answer. Will certain sets then be on the market longer since we had like a break in production, or will you discontinue sets at the same rate as you planned at the beginning of the year?
You know, as of right now, I don't know. I haven't heard that any sets will be out longer, but who can say? If we do decide to do that, I'm sure there'll be an announcement probably by the end of the year. You know, COVID has changed a lot of things for us.
And then one idea for the LAN, what might be interesting. I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, one ambassador tried to get a feel what was the most popular part ordered. It might be something cool from Lego to do, to say, oh, get a timeline, because for us as ambassadors, it's really hard. Like, when can I expect the invoice? How long does it take from invoice to receiving shipment? To just say, after logbook is done, get a survey and say, when did you order? When did you pay? When did you receive it? And then publish it. So it would be nice, like for North America, where we have so many logs, to see what's the average delay between order and invoice, and then invoice to delivery.
Yeah.
Because we have only our own experience from the last couple of years.
Yeah, so you think maybe for something like that, like a wide scale kind of survey of different communities and saying like, how long did it take you to get the order? When were you invoiced? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That could be some interesting data to at least, set the right expectations for next year.
Sarah, and also it's just a way to make people engage and be curious, right? They're different sized lugs. Does that have anything to do with it, right? It's just sort of hey, let's have some fun while we're sitting here treading water, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's basically Thomas should have the metrics, not Thomas Garrison, but Thomas out of Germany, or you guys should have the metrics that say, when was the order put in, when was the fulfillment, when was the invoice, and if that data can be surfaced, easily, that would be great. Then we'd have an idea like, okay, so like,
yeah,
it would cut down some of the discussion and the, hey, when, and asking those questions in the LAN on a repeated basis. We could go to one location and the data is surfaced there, and we could just sort of like, oh, okay. So.
Especially this year, because one of the things that keeps getting brought up is I had to change my order because of COVID. So does that affect it?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did too.
It'd be nice to know the original order, and then if Lugs did it, when did they do their new order, and see if that made a difference or not.
As far as I know, you were able to change your order because they hadn't actually been placed or filled yet. So that shouldn't have affected it.
Okay.
Or sometimes it would also be interesting to see, like, what was the most commonly ordered part across all lugs, and it just say, oh, across all lugs you ordered 1 billion of the 2x4s to give ambassadors and everyone an idea what you deal with, because sometimes, I don't want to say we are ignorant, but we think, oh, it's just half a pallet or a pallet, but then we don't realize there's a couple of hundred lugs, and some of them have half a container full. So if you say, ouch, that's a lot of stuff that Thomas has to deal with, which explains why sometimes it takes so long, or there might be a lack of communication, because we don't realize the scale that he's dealing with.
Right. Yeah. And, I think logbook data is something that we have looked at before or thought about looking back at before, but we just haven't had an opportunity to go through it because it's a lot of data and very intense. And it is interesting to note, like, if AFOLs love a particular part, how can we work that into more sets?
I have one thought, and I've mentioned this at meetings ages ago, but now might be a good time to do something because we can do it virtually. What about having ambassadors, just having a building challenge within ambassadors on the LAN to build a model that represents your lug? So I mentioned this before as a way of, it's like a sig fig, but it's a lug micro model of some kind to encourage people to interact as ambassadors, to get to meet people. But you can do that all digitally now. And it just reminded me because Van designed these little crocodile part. I don't have the rest of it here, but it's based on the new crocodile locomotive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he built it, and he was showing it to me, and he wanted me to build it in person to make sure it actually worked. And it just reminds me that each ambassador could come up with a 200 or parts or less or something model, and that we within the LAN could share those on LTD with the rendered versions or the in-person versions, right? That doesn't matter. But just to try and get people to engage on the LAN. My original idea was that you could have a special sort of project support order just to order the parts. So
you hit mute.
She's muted. There we go.
Sorry.
Don't hit the space bar, Alice. That mutes you, I think.
Yeah. Where did I stop? Where did I stop?
Special project support order.
Oh, okay. Just so that you could order the parts for it and then actually build the model to then share it. But I think now the idea is mostly just you do something to get people to engage on the LAN and throw out some ideas.
And that sounds great. And I mean, Alice, you could also start that. You don't necessarily need someone like me to post your models. I'll happily endorse you and thank you. But, I think that you've got a good starting point with that mini crocodile.
Okay, well, this is Vans from HK Train.
Yeah. Okay.
We were just building it for him in brick form.
I think it's very important that everybody kind of shows what they're building right now, because we're not necessarily able to go to these conventions in person and see all the awesome stuff. So show us what's in your storage room. Give us like a little display of your city.
Sarah, just tell my company to stop working me 24/7, and that way I have time to build. That's the bigger problem.
I'll send them a note.
Right. Can I just, it's Larry Ellison at Oracle. No.
I wish I could help there.
Yeah, no.
So my other meeting has just started. We are also on Zoom.
Right. Can they see us?
No, they can't see you. Well, I could. Yeah, why not? That's a good idea. I just don't have sound on the other device, but I can do that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to leave now.
Okay.
It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. We should do this more frequent, really.
We should.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a
Cheers.
Make a little bit about your event, actually.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops. I think my connection is frozen. I think my connection was frozen for a minute.
Well, we were all saying bye to you and waving.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
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 If everyone else wants to stay on the call and talk, we can do that, or we can let you guys have a break.
Well, I know Astrid is supposed to be starting her talk now at the actual virtual convention.
Oh, well, you don't want to miss that, but thank you guys so much. I'll be back on for Q&A in an hour, so wish me luck. Don't ask me any hard questions.
Is Monorail coming back?
Maybe. Who knows? Not me, for sure. All right. Thank you guys so much. Definitely reach out to me on the LAN if there's something else that we weren't able to discuss here.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Russell.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.